We're here on Pacuare River. It's one of the most beautiful and also one of the most powerful rivers in Costa Rica.
We came to raft Costa Rica's wildest river. We were expecting chaos in the Class 4 rapids. We weren't expecting everything else that happened. Hi, we're Stas and Nick. We've been to some of the most remote places on Earth. Horse riding through the peaks of Kyrgyzstan, volcanoes in the most remote part of Russia. But nothing prepared us for what this river had in store. The upper section of the Pacuare River runs through a pristine Costa Rican rainforest. It's wild and still relatively untouched. There's a series of remote ecolodges deep in the rainforest here, but no road access. You raft in, sleep in the jungle, and you raft out. This is our favorite kind of adventure. As we went down the river, we couldn't help but admire the vast, old-growth rainforest rising all around us. The jungle on the south side of the river is home to the Cabecar people, one of Costa Rica's oldest indigenous communities. They believe everything here has a spirit. The trees, the rocks, the river itself.
Native Americans say rivers aren't just water. They're a living memory. Rivers know who passes them and they remember if anyone does any harm.
I was feeling curious and a little nervous. Nick was feeling cute. He didn't come here to respect the local customs or learn the ancient stories.
Ask permission!
He came here to ride the water slide. We felt pretty badass pulling up to our hotel in a raft. But sadly, no one was here to appreciate our grand entrance. This didn't feel right. Isn't Costa Rica super touristy? We were expecting to stand in line just to swim in a waterfall here. Yes, we planned our trip to avoid the crowds, but did we go too far? Where are all the people? Why are the spiders so big here? Why is the only other way in and out of this valley on this janky metal cage suspended over the river? We came here to experience true wilderness. A wild and still untamed river. A dark and impenetrable rainforest, shielding indigenous people and culture from industrial pressures. In today's world, it feels like a privilege to experience truly wild places. It's refreshing to be somewhere without cars or lines of tourists waiting to take a selfie with the view. Usually, being in such legit wilderness means giving up most comforts like toilets and electricity. And that's what we thought this trip entailed when we booked our stay at a secluded ecolodge deep in the jungle. But that wasn't the case here. We were actually blown away by how comfortable the lodge was.
This is the closest you can get to the comforts of a room without actually having the windows. Come on in.
This place was honestly the perfect combination of remote and comfortable.
Look at this.
Top room highlights, this incredible view, and hot showers with good water pressure, and the same, still incredible view. I'm a sucker for hotels with epic views, and this place had plenty. The primary rainforest that surrounds the lodge is extremely dense, which makes it tricky to spot wildlife. However, anything is possible if you have the right equipment. There's something about this place. Something I can't name. Like someone is watching. The Cabecars say that if you feel like you're being watched here, then you probably are. By the old man of the forest.
It's a mythical jungle guardian, part ghost, part spirit. He's also believed to cause hallucinations, fear, and the feeling of getting lost in these forests. You can feel his presence through the sound in the trees, the wind, the sudden change of pressure. And if the forest suddenly goes quiet, that means he's watching. They say it's because he's trying to warn you of the danger that's coming.
I told Nick I was scared. He told me to quit talking about spirits like a crazy person. The spirits aren't real, and it's time to eat.
I'm coming.
We spent the afternoon exploring the jungle with our guide. As we explored the rainforest, it felt less spooky and more like a fairy tale. The air in the jungle is still and cool. The low growl of the howler monkeys and the constant droning of cicadas give the forest a primeval feel. Every tree is nearly suffocated with an overgrowth of mosses and parasitic plants. The rivers in Costa Rica are refreshingly cool and crystal clear. The cascade we found forms a perfect little microcosm of mist and a down-dwarf of fresh air in the otherwise stuffy jungle. Nick couldn't help himself but jump in. But I still couldn't figure out if the jungle was peaceful or suspiciously quiet.
It's raining pretty hard up in the mountains, so about 50-50 odds we get to go complete the rafting trip tomorrow.
If it rains too much and the water level gets too high, it will be too dangerous to raft and we'll have to hike out of here on a long, steep, and muddy trail. But there wasn't anything we could do except go to bed and hope for the best. Only I couldn't sleep. Maybe because of the giant spiders just outside the window. Or maybe because I couldn't get the story we heard at dinner out of my head. La Tulivieja, a ghostly woman with bird wings and long hair. Her breasts leak milk, and everywhere she goes, ants follow. She symbolizes sorrow and punishment, and haunts rivers and waterfalls. If you feel something drip on your shoulder and see marching ants, don't look up. She'll come for you. But then, this could just be a scary legend. I knew that the rainforest was full of ants. I didn't know that ant bites would swell up like this.
Pure Vita?
No.
It seemed that Cabecar ghosts and spirits were getting to me, but not to Nick.
It's day 2 of our rafting adventure. It did rain a lot overnight, but we're still going to be able to go. The rafting company did bring in some reinforcements to help us paddle, because yesterday we lost a lot of people overboard and one raft went. So it should be quite the adventure today.
I think we're gonna get tested today.
The second stretch of the Pacuare has bigger waves, steeper drops, huge boulders to avoid, and is in general a lot splashier. This is where the previous day's trip had lost half their crew over the side. Oh yeah, this kayak, he's there to make sure we don't drown. I'm not sure who comes up with the names for river rapids, but these ones are weirdly accurate. We bounced up and down as the raft bucked like an electric bull. Finally learned what it feels like being inside of a microwave, and were propelled in between giant obstacles like human-sized pinball. And then came the part I'll never forget. The section that felt straight out of a dream. We jumped out of the raft every chance we got to float in the calmest section of the Pacuare. But for the most part, our arms were dead from paddling and our backs sore from rapids. Calm pools are rare out here, so when you find one, you have to dive in. It's part of what makes this river unforgettable.
Oh, you have to jump for it.
The climax of the trip is Dos Montanas Gorge. Its sheer walls and dramatic beauty that was nearly lost. In 1986, the Costa Rican electrical company secretly began building a dam here. If completed, the Pacuare, its rapids, wildlife, and this very canyon would have been lost. Guides, activists, and the Cabecar people rose up to stop the construction, saving the river we raft today. Are forest guardians and river spirits real? What do the legends teach us? Maybe the real forest guardians are the people who keep this place wild. Now Pacuare stands as one of the world's top whitewater rivers. But the dam ban only lasts until 2040. What happens next will depend on future generations. If you want to do this trip, maybe now is the time. We'll link some useful information in the description. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe if you'd like to see more unique adventures around the world.